What's holding you back? Organizations have been pursuing process excellence for over 40 years in the business world, even though we may not have used that specific phrase to define what we were trying to do. In the early 1980s, the white paper, If Japan Can, Why Can't We?, ignited the total quality movement as United States manufacturers tried to keep pace with the Toyota production system. More than 20 years into the 21st century, Toyota still leads in that industry. I've served in one form of process improvement or another with 7 different employers over those years. I consider myself fortunate to have always worked for companies that were attempting to pursue process excellence in a formal manner. I learned a lot over that time about what it takes to both sustain and hold back a process improvement initiative. The intent of this book is to help you build the requisite infrastructure for sustaining your own performance improvement efforts. The prevailing management culture reflects the belief that improvement occurs by finding the right tools and giving them to people to use. We also appear to believe that this tools-only approach is enough to help us go beyond mere average levels of process improvement and achieve process excellence, well, at least for a few years. Sadly, we have to do more than just buy tools. We mistakenly think that buying tools and sending people to training classes on how to use these tools is all we have to do. Such an approach will probably give you pockets of excellence that last for some period of time, but it's too limited and ineffective to give you widespread, sustained levels of process excellence. To achieve that goal, you have to change your work systems as well. You have to build an infrastructure for excellence. Achieving sustained levels of process excellence and designing the excellence infrastructure for achieving that goal requires you to make tough, countercultural choices. This book is designed to help you think about the types and magnitudes of choices you are willing to make if you truly want to sustain any type of improvement initiative. My goal is not to force you to make these choices, but I do hope that people will recognize going forward that they can't achieve process excellence if they decide not to change their work systems. In short, if we're not willing to change our work systems, we should expect our improvement efforts to only be flashes in the pan that occur in our pockets of excellence. Can we stop the destruction? The prevailing system of management has destroyed our people. People are born with intrinsic motivation, self-esteem, dignity, a curiosity to learn, joy in learning. The forces of destruction begin with toddlers. A prize for the best Halloween costume, grades in school, gold stars, and so on up through the university. W. Edwards Deming. Dr. W. Edwards Deming made the above statement over 35 years ago, but if he were still alive today, I suspect that he would still see it as applicable. While one would hope that our prevailing system of management, let alone society, has become less destructive when it comes to intrinsic motivation, self-esteem, and dignity levels in the workplace, I strongly believe that this is not the case. In fact, my observations lead me to believe that we've become even more destructive in these areas over the past 35 to 40 years. What do you think? One could argue that I'm seeing and hearing what I want to see and hear when I observe and listen to the hundreds of customers I come in contact with each year. I don't just listen to the complaints that are made or the pain that is expressed on their faces, however. I look to see how much we've actually changed the work systems that are causing that pain and frustration. I want to think that we've made more progress than it appears we have. I listen for success, but I don't get to hear such stories often enough. I compare the excellent, great result-producing systems I've experienced as a Baldrige Performance Excellence Award examiner with the prevailing ones I see in 90% or more of the companies I encounter as a root cause analysis process trainer and performance improvement coach. System design differences do exist, profound differences, and these differences are responsible for the performance level discrepancies and the ability of a given organization to sustain high, best-in-class levels of performance. I could be really cynical and say that I don't think a lot of organizations truly care if they're destroying the intrinsic motivation levels of their people or not, as long as the numbers for the next quarter meet expected levels. What bothers me the most and has the most destructive impact on our people is that we expect our work systems to produce results they're not capable of producing. Worse yet, we blame our people when these results aren't attained, let alone sustained. That's a demotivating strategy. What's happening in your world of work? To what degree is your prevailing system of management holding back your performance and process improvement efforts? Workshop objectives. In this workbook, you will learn how to identify specific workplace changes that are needed to build process excellence into each person's job. Clarify the degree to which you're willing to make such systems changes in others. Overcome those system barriers that typically derail process excellence efforts. Model the approaches used by high-performance organizations. Create an action plan for implementing your workshop learnings and strategies. I wrote this book and created the workshop that goes with it to help achieve 5 key objectives. Primarily, we want to identify the specific types of change and approaches that are needed to help you sustain your improvement initiative over time and get great results from it. As these work practices and systems are identified, you'll be asked to consider the degree of change, what choices you're willing to make over time. These potential changes are not complicated, and they've been used for years by many organizations, but they are slightly different than the types of standard work practices you see in most organizations. It's for this reason that I say they're countercultural. In short, if you want to sustain an improvement initiative over time, you have to minimize the potential impact that existing improvement restrictors can have on your improvement efforts. Time is the ultimate constraint. Each of us only has 24 hours in a day to work with, but it has to be used wisely, not wasted. You also have to decide what you're going to expect of each of your leaders in the future from a process improvement perspective, including the degree to which each of them will be expected to consistently 1. Use process improvement approaches themselves, and 2. Engage their people in such efforts. The connection between these system changes and a high-performance work culture will also be explored. In order to create a high-performance work culture, you have to change the work systems that have created and shaped the culture that is currently in place. The goal of this book is to improve the performance of both you and your key processes, accelerate your pursuit of process excellence, and most importantly, help you sustain your improvement efforts in the coming years. Plus, this book will help you determine how fast you want to improve. We're not here to learn more about new tools or learn new buzzwords. You will find exercises throughout this book that are meant to help you identify next steps that you need to take in order to begin applying what you learn in a consistent manner. Finally, we'll get plenty of chances to practice our team skills since this workshop is exercise-driven. Key book topics and exercises. The Teach It Yourself workshop that accompanies this book is designed to help you identify and address those key system design flaws that hold back your improvement efforts. In it, you get the opportunity to complete a basic self-assessment to help you pinpoint those factors that are holding back your improvement initiatives. You will find that assessment on page 13 of this book. As you progress through this book, you will find a variety of exercises that are designed to help you identify what you will expect from your formal process owners. Also, we'll look at the degree to which you want to engage your workforce and improve the key processes that you want to pursue in your pursuit of excellence. Making these choices will help you define your degree and rate of change. By completing these exercises, you will be making decisions as to the degree of change you are willing to make in order to obtain better and more sustainable results. Consider completing the exercises with input of others. Your results will be much more well-rounded and effective if you select information from a variety of internal customers and external customers. We will spend time identifying possible barriers to concept application and the pursuit of process excellence in general, and we'll identify possible changes that can be made to minimize the possible impact of these barriers. We'll also explore the impact that your existing team or company culture will have on your pursuit of process excellence, and what the job of a truly high-performance-oriented leader looks like. Finally, we'll conclude the day by developing an action plan for putting these tools and concepts to work when you return to your workplace. These tools and approaches work, but not on their own. The degree that people use them correctly helps lead you to excellence.